nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lakeysha Keysha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock.
Y'all, I got some food, honey. I am back. Y'all, when I tell you I was so tired. Wait a minute, y'all. Let me turn this damn fan off because give me a second because it's making too much noise. Oh my god. This joker is making too much noise. Okay, y'all, let's get into it. Oh, y'all. Yeah, I got up at 6 o'clock. The court started at 9:30. 9:30. I got up at 6, took my shower, did all of that, left, got there at about 9:15, made it to the court. So keep in mind for the people that was saying that, because I did a brief video, I have a lot of video that I haven't released yet, and I have to kind of edit it and take stuff out because y'all do understand in a court hearing, they're talking about addresses, which I don't feel like is anything wrong with it. I really can't put that on here because it's weirdo. So I cannot, have anybody's address on there. So I have to get it edited to take out the address and stuff like that. Now, there was a few things that they didn't want me to hear. Well, let me start from the beginning. So when I first arrived at court, I don't know if I told y'all, but I had filled out. So for people that don't know, you can film in court. You cannot film in federal court. You can't film in federal court. That's why y'all see all those people going to the Diddy trial because no cameras are allowed. In state court, you can film with permission from the judge, in which I had permission from the judge to film. Remember I told y'all I had, sent my request in, but they hadn't gotten it back to me. And remember, y'all, I was going off saying, okay, if they don't send it back, I'm going to sue them because it is a legal request and you have to respond. So the judge did respond and he gave me okay to film. But so I showed up in court ready. And Porsha's attorney was like, we object. So I'm sitting here like, okay, what's next? So the judge was like, let me hear your objection. What is your objection? Y'all, this is the objection. I got to show y'all this because I was trying not to laugh, but this was the objection right here. Can y'all see my screen? So Porsha didn't like this video. What kind of finances you have, but let me just put it to you like this. Porsha doesn't make enough to pay for that house, honey. Porsha didn't like that video, honey, because her lawyer was like, first of all, she did this video. The funny part about it is I was, there. It was some interns in the back. They was laughing. And then it was a lawyer sitting next to me. He was laughing. And he was like, anyway, they can't tell you to leave because, I already know that. So I was like, okay, I get it. So anyways, Porsha attorney didn't want me to be there. I know you're watching this video, Porsha girl. You're not smart, girl, because hearings are open to the public. Anybody can come. Now, with the exception of recording, you really can't deny it because it's open court. This is all normal procedures, Miss 265 days a year. But anywho, so I got to proceed with my recording. One of the things, the judge said, he was like, because this is what Porsha's attorney said. Well, I don't want her to film because we're going to talk about finances. Well, this is what I learned. And this is how Porsha just be lying, because her attorney tried to object and say, well, we don't want her to film because we're going to talk about how much money Porsha she makes on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So she was like, and I can't get that can't get out because I can lose my job. So the judge was like, okay, I get it. So he said, okay, I can, allow you to film, but when we talk about finances, I'm just going to have you turn the camera off. So you'll see whenever I do upload, the videos, you won't see everything because it's going to be some parts that I have to take out wait a minute. In all honesty, when they got to the financial piece, I stopped. But then there's other situations where they're talking about addresses and stuff, and I'll just redact that. But the reason why I want to talk about her finances is because she never even talked about her damn finances, because the lawyer cross-examined and she never, when asked, how much do you make on Real Housewives of Atlanta? She was like, it depends. Girl, what? And finally the lawyer was like, well, it depends on what? How many episodes? So the lawyer had to ask this girl like 30 times to get a number. So it was revealed how much she makes, but I'm not going to talk about it. It ain't nothing anyways. I mean, it really ain't. It's not enough for her to afford this house. But because they said, you told me don't talk about it, I don't need to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that. But Porsha tried to get me kicked out the courtroom. Porsha thinks that she's something that she's not. That's the whole thing. Porsha is a Bravo celebrity. She tried to get me kicked out the courtroom. Girl, I got a whole master's degree, child. You can't do nothing with me when it comes to up here. Now, you can open your legs and do other things that I don't do, but you ain't smart like me. Okay, so let's get into the court here. I'm going to give y'all some brief highlights before I tell y'all what the judge did. When I tell y'all what the judge did, y'all going to be like, woo. But because I had been sitting there from 9:30, I literally left at 7:15. And let me tell y'all what happened in the court. We had sat in that joker so long, they start disconnecting the computer. So if y'all saw the one video that I did upload, it kind of looked weird because some of y'all was like, I can't see such and such on the screen, or why it looked like that. It looks like that because literally in court, it's just me and the judge. Everybody else is on the screen. The reason that it's like that is because when you record in court, they will not let you record via a Zoom because they want to make sure that you come in, show your ID, and they want to make sure you who you say you are. So I literally had to go in and really record a screen from there instead of from my own residence. So, okay, so we got past the part about Porsha she wanted to try to get me up out of there. Simon was there. So for the people that said, oh, I thought Simon got deported. He did get deported, but let me make sure y'all understand. I think that's where he's from. So he is back to, his country. It's not like he in jail. So he has been let out of ICE. He's over in Nigeria. He's free. So he was on the Zoom. He participated in the court. Porsha was there. Everybody was there. Porsha's attorney, his attorney. Porsha had some witness to testify to prenups. And Simon's attorney called a witness. But let me kind of give y'all a summation of what happened. So what ended up happening, what kind of took so long, is that the shit was really unorganized. Like, I don't really understand why we were there for so long. So just so y'all understand, the number one thing that happened today was to address the prenup. Because I'm sitting there like, what is we doing? Like, so the number one issue today was, should they enforce the prenup? If you guys remember, Simon was like, nope, don't enforce the prenup because of all of these different issues that he said should be looked at. And he wanted Porsha to provide her income. Do y'all remember that? He wanted her to, provide that stuff, and he wanted the full go to court. So that is what today was all about. What I want y'all to also know, Simon has a very good attorney. I want y'all to know that. I don't think Porsha's attorney was very good. I believe he's just money hungry because he was really to me, very unorganized. Simon's lawyer had everything together, like poop, poop, poop. She had it down to, the Breakfast Club video that she was gonna play. She asked Porsha questions in regards to some of the statements that she made. So this is also what I want y'all to know. The prenup is like 250 something pages. Okay. So the prenup is a large document. What we learned in court today is Porsha's attorney wasn't submitting the full thing. But what I also want y'all to know is in the prenup, I understand why Simon contested it, because it was verbiage in there that actually kind of, was kind of up in the air, because it was verbiage in there that basically said, if he did not have the money or if he couldn't afford it, that he didn't have to pay. I also want to let y'all know that Simon was paying this woman $40,000 a month. Y'all heard it. Y'all need me to put it in the chat. $40,000. So Simon testified that when him and Porsha start dating, he was giving her $30,000. But let's get into that. This is what Simon said, and I believe he was telling the truth because what he said made sense. Do y'all remember Porsha's last she's back on Real Housewives now, but if y'all look at her last season, I think that was the season with Bolo. Simon said Porsha had a really difficult season, and I was like, what? What are you talking about? What do you mean? So then it made me remember that. So he said Porsha was having a very difficult season on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she wanted to leave. So Simon said because Porsha wanted to leave, he said she was his girlfriend. And I want y'all to know, I know they said that it wasn't no crossover between the Fallon and it's definitely some little crossover there. Okay. So Simon said since Porsha was his girlfriend and she wanted to get off of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that as her boyfriend or whatever, he gave her a $30,000 a month. He said this was during the time they were dating. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, the first thing I said is I need to find me an old man, because if they giving hoes 30,000 and everybody done been up in there, I know I can at least get 100. I mean, damn. I said, what? So he was giving Porsha $30,000 a month. Okay. He said when they got married, it went from 30 to 40. The first thing came to my mind, I said, is that really what you do? Okay. So he gave her $40,000 a month. This was this woman's allowance, $40,000. Y'all, the hoes is winning. I just want y'all to know, because I was like, what's wrong with Simon? So Simon gave this woman $40,000 a month. Porsha also said in court that Simon hadn't been paying a mortgage. Remember, I told y'all that mortgage ain't getting paid. But under cross-examination, we found out that she lied. And when I say she lied, he didn't pay it. But he didn't pay it because those were the days that he was in ICE custody. So, ma'am, you pay it. So the mortgage had not been paid. But what Porsha did say, which I believe is a lie, she stated that she had been paying it. But where it got a little tricky, when asked for the documentation of Porsha, how much is the mortgage or how much did you pay? Guess what she said? I don't remember. How do you not remember how much of a mortgage that you paid? So she went on to say that her accountant paid it, which is okay. But girl, you don't have that kind of money to the point that you don't know the amount or the ballpark figure. She said she paid it for, I believe she said 3 or 4 months, but don't remember how much it was. So that was a little bit sketchy that you paid the mortgage and you don't know how much it is. And then when asked, she didn't know. And then she said, it's about 20 something. And I was like, no, not 20 something for upkeep, electric, water, gas. So she seemed like she was lying because she didn't know what it was. She never provided the documentation that showed, like a bank statement, canceled check or whatever. It's just, she was definitely lying. I'm just saying she was definitely lying. Now, one thing I can say about Porsha that I learned in this court hearing is that she definitely took some hurt from when she was with Cordell. She brought it into this marriage, and I'm going to tell you why. When Porsha took the stand, what she said, because she was asked about the prenup, one of the things she said is, she talked about how long they negotiated the prenup. She talked about that, but she also said one of the things that she needed to have was security. She mentioned that in her first marriage, she felt like she did not get that, and she needed to feel like she was secure, which I understood that. But another thing that I did not know is Simon had two of Simon's kids lived in that house as well. So can y'all imagine how he would feel having to leave and give it to you? And also, Simon purchased that property almost a year, or very close to a year, before they even got married. So imagine he had this house with his children, and that also goes into the timing of their relationship, because he bought the house almost a year before they got married. Porsha also testified that, listen to this, y'all, that during Simon was going through his divorce and he sold his house, she said he stayed with her in her house in Duluth. That's what Porsha, she testified to that. Okay. So getting back to the prenup, another thing I learned about the prenup is the prenup had a bunch of different stipulations in it. I mean, 250 some pages, I would guess. Now, one of the things, let's go into it. So, one of the things that Simon's attorney pointed out is that Porsha she couldn't mention the terms of the prenup. I ain't know that. So Porsha could not, how Porsha would go on, for instance, she went on a Breakfast Club and she was asked about Simon, and she said Simon was a slithering snake, or he was something. She said he would slither his way out of it or something. Well, Simon's attorney played that clip after asking Porsha about interviews that she had. Of course, Porsha lied. And then Simon's attorney played the clip from Breakfast Club and said, yeah, you did say it because it's right here. So, of course, Porsha lied again. And she said, oh, no, that's not what I meant. I meant that he would slither his way out like a snake, but not that he was a snake. So Porsha was just really lying, okay? So, like I said, Simon's attorney was very thorough. She pointed out interviews in which Porsha was talking about him, which Simon's attorney was saying that is a violation of the prenup, because within the prenup, Porsha was not supposed to talk about, she wasn't supposed to say anything about Simon. She couldn't really go into saying, I own the house, or she wasn't supposed to speak about any of that. So Simon's attorney had various different, interviews and times that Porsha has spoke about the marriage and that she wasn't supposed to. So I thought she did a very good job with that, compared to Porsha's attorney, who just was all over the place. Randy Kessler set up in court saying that Porsha's attorney fees was $230,000. And I'm just looking like, girl, you paid him? He seems so unorganized. Simon's attorney had it all the way together. Okay. So one thing I'm gonna tell y'all about this damn judge, he was rest to go. I thought he was gonna be get out. I didn't think he was gonna last this long, but I can tell by his facial expressions and how he was like, okay, I heard enough of this. Okay, wrap this up. Okay, don't ask that. I'm just I said, this judge is over this whole entire case. Okay, the judge was over it, but he allowed them to move forward and talk. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was rest to go. Okay. And the look on his face was like, I mean, I could just tell by his mannerisms. And the first thing came to my mind, I said, I think he's going to enforce the prenup. I just kept thinking that. Let me just tell you why I thought that. He was not concerned by little bits of information. And then he would be like, don't ask that. Nope, don't repeat that. He was over it. So I was like, I think he's just doing that because he wants to go through the procedures. And then Simon's attorney was pointing out, like, listen, I want to be fair. I want to make sure I'm getting the proper time, and I think he wanted to at least make it seem like he was being fair. Okay. But Simon lawyer did not play. And one thing, when I show y'all the clips, Porsha was being a little bit disrespectful, honey, to Simon's attorney. Like, she was just being really sassy. It was just the way that she was coming at Simon's attorney. It just was giving real, like, girl, you really need to not. She was just, her attitude was real, real nasty. So Simon's attorney pointed out that that Porsha, speaking of the divorce, talking about, she owned the house 50-50 and all of that had language in the prenup that said you cannot do that. Okay. So Simon's attorney pointed that out. About her not being able to. Another good one. This is another good one, y'all. When I say Porsha is a liar, she is not a good liar either. So listen to this. Simon's attorney asked Porsha. Now listen to how dumb this is. Simon's attorney asked Porsha about her contract with Bravo. Okay. Asked her, can you kind of tell me the terms of your, agreement with Bravo and about you filming in the house? How does that work? Simon's attorney was trying to get the gist of Porsha's agreement and if she really needed to film in the house. Y'all, guess what Porsha said? Y'all is not going to believe what Porsha said. Porsha said her contract, the contract that she has, she said, I can stand up against a wall and film. She said, I don't have to film in the house. Huh? So I'm just like, wait a minute, girl. So Porsha tells the attorney that basically in her contract, she can film wherever she want to film. Do y'all see how this don't make sense? So Simon's attorney said, okay, so you can film wherever you want, right? She said, yeah. So she said, good point. Simon's attorney went to the notice that Porsha filed saying she needed to film in the house because she was going to lose her job. Simon's attorney was good, okay? So Porsha done sat up on the stand and said, she can film anywhere. She can go up against a white wall and film. That's what she said. So Simon's attorney was like, for real, girl? Okay, good point. So why did you submit this motion saying that you needed to film in the house? Because you said your agreement. So now Porsha is like, oh, well, I don't have to film in the house, but how it works, if I don't film in the house, then it's a good possibility that I may not be brought back. When I tell you Porsha was just making up off the top of her head, but the point where she talked about her daughter and needing to feel secure, I did understand that, but I also feel like she went about it the wrong way. Because if Simon was giving you $30,000 or $40,000 a month, girl, where is it? Because you could have been, if he was paying all of the bills, what did you do with that money? Also, this entire case was strictly about money because that is all they talked about. So what they talked about is enforcing the prenup. So I want y'all to understand, enforcing the prenup means that if Porsha cannot refinance the house in her name, it has to be sold. Okay. So if Porsha cannot, refinance the property in her name, it has to be sold and they have to split the proceeds. Now, keep in mind, this is a property that Simon bought before he married Porsha, but because it's considered marital property, because they live there together, they have to split it. And this is also in the prenup. Also, y'all, guess what else is in a prenup? What else is in a prenup is that Porsha can live in a house for 36 months, which is 3 years, and it will go back to whenever she originally filed. She can live there for 3 years, and Simon is supposed to pay the bills, the mortgage, and everything. And let me just tell you why it's for 3 years. Because Porsha said when they were in negotiations for the prenup, because she had quit her jobs, and y'all remember she wasn't working. She quit Dish Nation, she quit Bravo. She said the reason why it was for 3 years is because she had quit all of her jobs, and if they had, went, in a divorce, it would take her about 3 years to start working and establish herself, because if y'all know, if you bought a house before, you have to show your tax returns. So that made sense. So now I can understand why Simon said, okay, I'm going to pay the mortgage for 3 years. But Simon agreed to pay the mortgage because Porsha wasn't working. Now that Porsha is working, he look, wait a minute. Simon also said that since being in ICE custody, his money was not the same. But do y'all think the judge went for that? That is what Simon said. But y'all got to understand, I don't got the exact number, but Simon said he had 360 something million. Now, I ain't never had 360. I barely had one. But listen, the judge was like, okay, y'all got to understand, this is a judge who probably made 200,000, and you talking about 360 something million. They don't give a F about that, because guess what? They don't have it. So the judge was like, okay, well, even if you were in ICE custody, you wouldn't have lost all the 360 some million, would you? So the judge was like, Also, the prenup states that Simon would still pay the mortgage. And guess what, y'all? Guess what else it say? What else do you put in the chat? What else you think the prenup says? Simon would have to pay the mortgage and the bills at the house for 3 years. If she can't refinance it in 3 years, they split the equity. But guess what else it say? He got to pay this $40,000 a month. Yes, it says that. So let's get to what happened. Y'all want to know what happened? What y'all think happened? If y'all think the judge enforced the prenup, put 1. If you think they got to go back to court, put a 2 in the chat. I want to see what y'all think. Well, the judge, this is what the judge said. And I'm going to play it for y'all, but I'm going to upload it later. The judge, so let me make sure y'all understand this. Y'all are probably already know this. When people go to court, they hate each other a lot of times. Like when you're going through a divorce, you don't like your spouse, right? So it's like everybody start making up these excuses as to why. So when people do prenuptial agreements, the reason that they do prenuptial agreements is for what? So they don't have to do what? This. That is what the prenuptial agreement is for. So I knew when I kept looking at this judge and his facial expressions, the judge said, we is going to enforce the prenup, okay? Because the judge said he feels like that they had already did this prenup. He said that they both testified that they had been working. So Simon and Porsha worked on the prenup as long as they had been married. So what that means is Simon and Porsha said they got divorced 1 month after knowing each other. I'm sorry, not got divorced. They got engaged 1 month after knowing each other. So they start working on a prenup for what? I don't know, 11, 12 months. So the judge was like, I feel like this prenup that y'all worked on, and the judge also said the attorneys that worked on the prenup with y'all, the judge said, I know those are good attorneys. The judge did not buy Simon saying that his money was gone. He didn't buy it. The judge didn't buy it because the judge said, okay, you said 97% of your money resided in a business in the U.S. and now you say you can't operate that business because you're no longer in the U.S. Let me tell y'all what the judge did, y'all. The judge went to both of their profiles on social media because the judge knew everything. Because the judge said, you said that you can operate your business in being in another country. So the judge had already did his homework. The judge also said, he said both Simon and Porsha had dirty hands, which what he mean is they both did stuff. He said it wasn't just her or him. He said it was both of y'all. He said Porsha, she may have went on these platforms or done interviews and said stuff about Simon that she wasn't supposed to say. The judge was like, but guess what? So did you. I think the judge was fair. But so this, to me, this is where it's not fair, because everybody like, well, dang, why does he get to lose his house? So this is how it works. Simon wrote that in the prenup, y'all. Did y'all know that? It's there? So the judge just said, enforce it. The judge is like, look, it's not the court's job to decide a prenup when y'all already got one. So the judge said, you guys sat down as adults and you guys came up with this prenup. You worked on it for months. Y'all testified that y'all worked on it for months. So he said it is not the court's position to change it. So the judge just wasn't buying it. So the judge is doing nothing other than what they have already in there. So let me tell you what's already in there. The reason why Porsha is saying enforce the prenup, because it all works for her. But y'all, why did Simon sign the damn thing? What was he thinking? Now, people saying he was in love or whatever, but listen, y'all, people got to understand, you may be in love today, but your prenup better be something you can live with tomorrow, okay? So the judge basically said, we're going to go with the prenup. Well, the prenup says that Simon has to pay Porsha's attorney's fees. The prenup says that Simon has to continue to pay Porsha $40,000. The prenup says that if Porsha cannot get the house refinanced, then she can sell it and they can split the equity. So everything in the prenup benefits Porsha, but the judge was like, that ain't really for the courts to decide, because y'all already decided this. So the judge was like, it's not really much for us to do here. So do y'all understand how we sat there all damn day for the judge to say what he already said? Because this was the same judge that enforced it, how it's being enforced now. So when I figured that out, I was like, wait a minute. I think he gonna say enforce the prenup, and I can just tell because he was not concerned by the little ass details. He was like, move on, move on. I said, this judge is gonna enforce the prenup. But this is what I'm thinking, y'all. I don't think Simon is gonna pay that. I really don't, because let me listen to this. If Simon has been deported, he's deported. So why should he care about a court order here? I mean, why should he care? Because the way that it's going to work is, another thing that needs to happen. Simon has to transfer the property into a trust. Guess why? Because it's in the prenup. In the prenup, it says if they should go through a divorce, that Simon has to deed the house over to a what is that called? A trust in both of their names. But what's going to happen though, if Simon doesn't pay, so the judge said that if Simon doesn't change the property into, both of their names, that they can do it via court order. So what's going to happen if Simon don't pay Porsha the $40,000 or whatever, if he don't pay Porsha's attorney fees, what's going to happen is when she does refinance or sell the house, he won't get anything, because what she'll say is he didn't pay what he was supposed to pay, which means he's kind of in default on his side, which means she'll just keep it. So that's pretty much it. I was just like, wow. But the judge was not hearing it. I also don't believe that Porsha is going to be able to refinance his house. I really don't. Because if you think about it, Porsha has been off of Housewives for what, like a couple of years? To refinance a house, you need 2 years of tax returns. So I don't know. I don't know if she's going to be able to refinance it. And I really don't think Simon is going to pay. I don't think he's going to pay. I mean, would you pay? I don't, I honestly do not believe that he's going to pay this. I believe he's just gonna wash his hands and let it just go. I was thinking, I was like, damn, what, like what? $40,000. So I think that the house is going to maybe, I think she'll probably sell it and buy something else because I just listen, this is another thing. They asked Porsha, had she got a loan, y'all? She was like, yeah. And the lady was like, okay, so what, I think she was probably asking Porsha the terms. Porsha didn't know nothing. She was like, well, I don't know. The lady was like, well, how much is yours? She was like, well, I don't know. Like, she didn't know anything. So that's how I kind of knew that she was lying because, girl, you don't know nothing about the loan that you said you got. So I don't think, honestly, I don't think that Porsha is going to be able to get this property refinanced. I'm just being honest because I feel like if she could do it, she would be able to tell us who her who her person is. Like, I mean, I got a loan and I can tell you who my person is, Bank of America. Like, she doesn't even, I'm just like, girl, so every time she didn't know something, she would be like, oh, it's my accountant or it would just be something like, girl, what? And then she would say, like, oh, it's too much. I can't remember. I'm just like, this girl is, yes, that's what I'm thinking. I think Porsha got bad credit. I'm just gonna tell y'all. Oh, and another thing, when I told y'all it just seems like it's so about money. And I'm sorry, but I think Porsha funds is low as a motherfucker. I'm just saying because she not only was she talking about the house, that was her main concern. She was talking about a car. She was like, Simon had got her a Rolls Royce. And then she was talking about, y'all, that like the plates hadn't been renewed. Now, I just renewed my plates. All you need to do is take but you know what though? I don't think she can renew it because I just tried to renew my plates and I didn't have the coupon thing that they send. So I was able to just scan my license. So Porsha, if y'all notice on Real Housewives of Atlanta, Porsha hasn't been driving that Rolls Royce. And I'm going to tell you why. Porsha said the plates, she can't renew, she needs to renew the plates. So y'all notice that if y'all see her on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she's been driving that. I think it's like a Mercedes Benz or something. So one of her issues was the car. Like, I guess Simon was supposed to pay off the car. I really feel like Simon ain't gonna do shit. I don't think he's going to do anything. I think he's going to wash his hands with this and just work on his citizenship or whatever. I don't think he may not even appeal it. I don't think he may not even appeal it. I think Simon is over it. I mean, man, talking about they said he had 370 some million. He can just buy a house cash. So I don't think that he is going to pay any of this. This was crazy. This was a mess. What y'all saying in the chat? Nope, she been driving a low car. Right. So with the car though, she's saying that the car registration, y'all, ain't renewed. So she can't renew it. So she was saying one of the other things was that he was supposed to pay the car off or something. It was just everything. So here's my deal. And this is why I say I think Porsha is struggling financially. When I want to get away from people, I run the away. You can have all your like, I don't want it. So she was just so clingy and wanting to hold on to something. Now, I don't have a problem with, you a married person and, y'all split assets or whatever. But girl, y'all wasn't even married for no time. Like y'all was going through a divorce longer than you was married. There was no love in this relationship. I really think, as crazy as it sounds, I think Simon really loved her. Now, y'all probably will be like, you think, I think that he did. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Nigerian man is different because I really think he did. I really truly think that he did. What if he really doesn't have the money and lied about it he had already been giving her $40,000 a month. So I don't know how he could lie to her. He had been giving her $40,000 a month. Let me repeat that. When Simon was dating Porsha, he gave her $30,000 a month. This is before they got married. He gave her a $30,000 allowance. Now, if y'all remember, Fallon spoke to that, and Fallon said, when she was married to him, I guess he gave her an allowance too. So when you say, what if he lying about the money? I mean, he had been giving it to her. I mean, she would have said that he was lying in court. She wouldn't have just sat there. So he was definitely giving her $30,000 a month. And then after they were married, he was giving her $40,000. Because if y'all remember, one of the issues with the prenup is Simon said, I hate saying Simon said. I mean, okay. Simon, I guess the agreement between him and Porsha was that she wasn't going to work. So once she went back to work, it was like, well, wait a minute. If you working, then what am I paying you for? So that was one of the things that he said, like, look, if I'm gonna pay you, pay you this type of money, then what are you working for? So he definitely, he got the money. I know, everybody keeps saying he a scammer, but I mean, he couldn't be a scammer too much because he was just in ICE detention. They went through all of his stuff. I think if he was a scammer, he would still be there. So, and that was another thing they spoke about in court. They said Porsha perpetrated this lie about him being this scammer. So, I mean, y'all keep saying he a scammer, but I mean, what was he getting the 40,000 from? So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, 40,000, that's not like 5,000, But yeah, he was definitely paying it. But y'all, this was a mess. This was a mess. I know Porsha, I saw Porsha looking down. I know she was texting her mama Diane on the phone, like, we got the house, we got it. But baby, I don't know. So I don't even know, like I said, y'all, I don't know if she actually paid the mortgage. Simon's attorney asked her, she said that, she had paid it. But when asked how much was the mortgage, she seemed like she didn't even know. So again, I feel like the judge knew that, that Porsha was lying, but I don't think the judge cared. I think the judge felt like these two grown-ups sat down and put together a prenup, and I feel like he was over it. The judge was over it. The judge was like, look, y'all put together this prenup, and since y'all did that, I'm going to move forward with the prenup. What else? Let me look on my notes and see what else. And y'all know what else I learned too? Porsha was really, really hurt and triggered, which is so crazy, when Simon did not reach back out to her about her daughter, because she mentioned that in court. She talked about reaching out to Simon because, okay, there was another provision in the prenup, and this provision said before they could move forward that they needed to have mediation. And Simon's attorney was like, what happened to the mediation? Because if y'all remember, when Porsha filed for divorce right away, what did she say? I want the prenup to be enforced. But they skipped the mediation. So Simon's, thank y'all for the super chat. So Simon's attorney was like, I'm sorry. Yeah, Simon's attorney was like, wait a minute. Whatever happened to the mediation? Because Simon's attorney was like, the mediation is part of the prenup. The prenup says that, I guess, if they were going to get a divorce, that they needed to do mediation. They did not do it. So Porsha says, oh, well, the reason we didn't do the mediation was because when she tried to call Simon, she said she had mentioned, about her daughter, or something, her daughter wanted to talk to him, and he never called back. I'm just like, what? And then she had mentioned that based on his behavior online, and then she said that I guess he had locked her out. But of course, Simon said that the reason that it was some issues, and I guess she was saying that he had locked her out, was simply because she had brought men to the house, I guess some armed men or something. So the judge wasn't really trying to hear that either. He really wasn't. He wasn't. I feel like the judge had made his decision and he was just doing his due diligence by, letting them talk and sit there and, do the whole hearing. And in all honesty, y'all, normally, well, I shouldn't say normally. Sometimes judges will say, I'll issue my written decision. But at the end, he was like, okay, I'm about to give y'all my decision. I said, oh, he going with the prenup. Because, I mean, I watched him the whole time and he wasn't even seeming too invested in nothing they were saying. So I was like, I think he's going to enforce the prenup. I would say I left my wallet in the ICE detention. Yeah, I mean, so the thing that worked against Simon in this case, because they testified that they had worked on the prenup for an extended amount of time. Now, when you work on something for an extended amount of time, and then what they both said is they went back and forth with their attorneys. They said, well, originally they said that their attorneys drawed up the prenup, but then they said they didn't like it. So they took so what they said is Simon and Porsha came up with what it was they wanted, and they gave it to their attorneys to put in the prenup. So I feel like the judge was smart though, because y'all got to think about it. As a judge, you sit and you watch these cases all the time, and y'all know how it is when you marry somebody, you in love, and what people fail to realize is when they in love is how that shit look out of love. Because I know y'all done love somebody before and y'all be like, damn, how did I love that person? Ugh. So y'all know the judge done saw this behavior before. The judge saw this, and the judge done looked at both of their social media pages. I'm telling you, he know, because he even told Porsha, he was like, yeah, you got a little channel where you be doing commentary. He done been on Porsha channel. Why she trying to show him mine, girl? Because I know you. Hey, Porsha girl, because I know she here. But yeah, so she does, she gets to keep the house, but she would need to refinance it in her name. But frankly, I don't think Simon gonna pay that. I don't think he gonna pay it. Right. Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know what Simon was thinking. Right. That's what I'm saying. She got the house, but see, the thing about the house, the house ain't, the house has a mortgage on it. So, she would have to refinance that in her name, She gonna have to refinance it in her name and keep up the payments, because I don't think he gonna pay it. Listen, let's say you wasn't from the United States and you was deported, I ain't paying nothing. For what? Why should Simon pay for a house for Porsha and her daughter and her baby daddy? Why? Please, I wouldn't pay for that. First of all, y'all, he done got kicked out of the country. Y'all done kicked the man out the country, but you want him to pay for a lady in the country that he used to be married to and her daughter and her baby daddy? Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe that's the best thing, for Simon to be out of the country, to let this whole situation blow over, because this is a lot. Now, I know he done found out that Dennis been in his house and they've been cooking just a whole bunch of disrespectful stuff. I don't see Simon paying nothing. Somebody said, yeah, I think he would come back to the States eventually, but maybe this is a good little cool down period. Because how would you feel knowing that you're responsible to pay for something for some lady and her baby daddy and they child over in the house? Man, please deport me for a minute, because it's finna be somebody finna get murked. So, you know what a trust is. She literally can't do anything for the house without going. Yes, yeah. So the trust has to be in both of their names. Yeah, yeah. But right now it's not even in her name. So, with the trust, at least she can refinance it. But I don't think he's gonna do any of that. So what the judge said is, if Simon does not transfer it within the next 30 days, into the trust with both of their names on it, then they can come back and do a court order. they're gonna do a court order. Simon ain't coming back until Trump out of office. Yeah, Trump is a mess. So I mean, I'm not going through all of this for somebody else shit. I remember, I don't know if I told y'all this. I was this guy, he a nobody now, but I'll never forget. I stopped talking to him. He really used to get on my damn nerves. And he knew that I was done with his ass. One day he called me. He was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'll call you back." And then he was like, "Well, I got a house. You want it?" I was like, "Nope." I mean, I don't want nothing. How they gonna summon him to court? Right, exactly. How they gonna summon him to court? Exactly. And that's what Portia's attorney was saying. Portia's attorney was like, well, the issue is gonna be he's way, over in Nigeria. Good luck. Right. So I don't so the bad part of this, I really believe that Simon would have probably continued to pay anything, I'm sorry, pay whatever it was he owed, had she would have did it the right way. Like, you just can't gangster and take somebody, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of crazy for Portia to think that, she can just do that. So I think it was, her behavior. Um, how did you so I'm surprised you saw his deportation papers, because everybody in the court never saw it. So how, I don't understand how you would see him. Nope, nope. So let's talk about Simon, being deported, because I see people putting it in the chat. I don't know how you saw any of Simon deportation papers, because the entire court didn't see it. And they had even reached out and tried to get it. So I don't even know how you would even see that. Nobody in the court has saw it, because, I guess when they release, they don't even give you nothing. But nobody saw that, because they tried to, well, Portia's attorney tried to talk about, deport, and the judge was like, we're not talking about that. Like, that is not relevant. And that's why I was like, the judge is tired, because Portia's attorney tried to go into how many times you've been deported. And Simon's lawyer is like, you want him to remember something from 40 years ago? Like, no, we're not trying to remember that. So I don't know. He doesn't have any deportation papers, because I believe the other attorney was trying to, get information. Also, too, oh, I know I'm forgetting something. So Porsha talked about why she wanted a divorce, y'all. Wait till I tell y'all this. This is just don't make any sense. Porsha said that the reason why she asked to get a divorce is because her and Simon had been in Dubai. And I know y'all saw this. If y'all remember, they were in Dubai. And then right after that, it seemed like she had filed for divorce. Well, Porsha said that her and Simon was doing a business deal in Dubai. So allegedly, Porsha did not understand the paperwork, which we not surprised. But she said she thought that he was doing something illegal or something alleged, because none of this has been proven. So Simon's lawyer is like, what do you mean? Like, what? So Portia really couldn't explain it. And Simon's attorney was like, so you mean because you didn't understand the paperwork that you assume, and it's amazing that she keeps saying that he's doing all these illegal things, but you want his illegal ass money. So Simon's attorney was very, very good. He was very good. Like I said, I just feel like in this case, the judge was over it. The judge was over it. The judge was over it. But Portia was just pulling shit out her ass. I mean, she was just making up shit, making up. And it was so crazy how she referred to our children. Girl, that man children had to move out of the house while you living in here with your daughter. So I don't think Simon gonna pay for it. What y'all think? Y'all think Simon gonna pay for that damn house? What y'all think? If y'all think Simon is paying for that house, put a 1 in the chat. If you think he ain't, put a 2. Because I don't think he paying for it. I don't think Simon is gonna pay. But if y'all think he gonna pay, put a 1 in the chat. I think that I think the house gonna, go into foreclosure. I'm just, that's just my thoughts. Now, I could be wrong, But I think that the house is going to go into foreclosure. That's just my thoughts. Heck no. What y'all saying in the chat? Let me look on my notes. Let me see if I forgot something. It was a lot. Like I said, I got the videos. I gotta get it edited. Somebody said mine is there. Otherwise, we do not have to hear about them. Somebody said that we don't have to hear about them again. Yeah, so pretty much. And that was the final thing that they talked about in court, because keep in mind they were there to do the prenup, and then the attorneys was like, well, can we just do the divorce and be done with it? So yeah, that all of that is going to be done. So right now, because I try to go online and see if there's anything online. There's nothing online. Can't wait to hear his exclusive with the. Okay, so I did go online. There's nothing online as of yet. So there's no documentation online, because as I was there, the judge was asking the attorney to prepare the order. So there's nothing online as of yet, but from what I gathered today, that they done, like they're gonna do, the full divorce, and then from there, Simon is supposed to transfer the house into a trust, and Porsha is supposed to, try to refinance it into her name. So the thing about the refinance, and that's why I'm like, I don't think she's going to be able to do it, because with a refinance, she's supposed to take the equity out. So what they say is $1 million worth of equity. So by it being $1 million worth of equity, she's supposed to keep half and she's supposed to give him half. So that's what I gather. But I'm thinking, if he doesn't pay, the money that, he's supposed to pay her, then I don't think she's going to, have to give him anything. But we'll see. What do y'all think? Y'all think Simon gonna file for a what is that? An appeal? I think that he probably won't. I think that he'll probably be over this. What y'all think? Y'all think he gonna file for an appeal? The judge left it up to them. Somebody said Simon should misspell her. Yeah, the judge just was like, look, we not finna be changing nothing. This is the prenup. This is what y'all agreed to. And he left it at that. And I kind of thought that. I said, I really think that this judge is going to reinforce the prenup, because I can just tell by he was just like, yep, she broke the story first and was give updates all day. Yeah, I tried, y'all. When I tell y'all I was so tired, food helps, because I hadn't had no food. They gave us an hour. So I ended up running out, getting me a little tripod, because of the setup in the court was like, oh my gosh, it was a mess. Because I originally thought that when I came in, they were gonna give me a computer and I could sit in front of the computer and record. I didn't know the computer was gonna be clear across the courtroom. So it was a mess. Yeah, I really think that Simon was in love with Porsha, because y'all have to understand, older men, that's how they show their love. They just, that's how they show their love, older men. So he really was in love with her. But I mean, I feel like, that was I don't know. I don't know, but I really think I gotta go and watch these recordings, but Porsha was creeping with that lady husband. I know for real now. Porsha says Simon moved into her house right after he sold his house. That's what she said. So she said Simon was living with her. Yeah, that's what I said. I was thinking, I said, I really think that this judge is going to go with the prenup. The reason why I said that, because normally you would see the judge taking notes, or, you know what I mean? He was just like, Nope, we've already said that. I don't want to hear that again. I was like, I don't think he's going to. And see, the thing of it is, I'm not saying that Simon didn't have a good case. I just think this judge was over it. So the judge was an older white guy. He's probably like, look, y'all agreed to this. We're gonna keep it like that. So I don't think the judge, I don't think he felt like, look, y'all created this. I'm gonna leave it like that. So I, like I said, I don't think it wasn't that Simon didn't have a good case. I think the judge wasn't interested in changing it. Any other man will proceed with caution. Watch out, Dennis. Well, Dennis is never gonna marry Porsha, so that ain't gonna ever happen. And I believe during the time they were gonna get married, Porsha didn't like the prenup that Dennis had, and his mama wasn't having it. But then y'all gotta understand, Simon is an older man. I mean, he's not, and he said so what Simon did say in court is he said he wanted to help Porsha. So Simon said that he really didn't have any problem with the prenup, is what he said. He just felt like his circumstances changed, and the problem is that the judge didn't buy it. So, well, the thing about it is Porsha. So the thing with what Porsha has is it's all up to Simon to pay. Do y'all really think he gonna pay? I mean, if he don't pay, it's really nothing they can do. Yeah, the judge was tired, child. The judge was over it. How much? So they're saying with regards to the equity, I guess they have already looked into it because Portia's attorney said it's about $1 million. Because y'all remember when Simon bought the house, he put a lot of money down. So what Porsha is, getting in equity is what Simon put down in cash. So yes, but okay. So the way that it works is with this agreement is for 36 months. So 36 months, that's for 3 years. So it's 3 years from the date that she filed. And I only think they into what, a year and a half now. So yeah, it's 36 months. No, not for the rest of her life. So the prenup says for 36 months. Yeah, it's for 36 months. So it will be 36 months from, whatever date she filed. And I don't know why it seemed like this thing been going on for a couple years. Fallon still got more and half the trouble. I don't understand why any woman would want to put up such a fight. Porsha act like she been with this. She ain't even been with this. She hadn't even been with him for 3 years. I mean, this is why you can tell that this is tied to her other trauma. Because again, when she talked about it, she said it was very important for her to have these things in the prenup because she needed to feel secure. She said because before, when she had gotten married, she didn't feel like she had, got anything. And I was like, okay, girl, I understand. But the issue, and that's why it's real important, y'all, to deal with trauma, because although I understood what she said, I didn't agree, because you're taking your trauma out on somebody that didn't, he didn't do it. And in fact, Simon actually gave you a prenup in which he was willing to give you a lot of different things. So you really can't take out what happened between you and Cordell. And then if y'all remember, Cordell said he paid for his house in cash. How these men is not going to be giving you their house and you done been married to him for 2 weeks? You said she need 2 years of statements to refinance, but she had her 2 businesses the whole time. So if you're familiar with the business, most people generally say they make less. So she may have a business, but based on what she said on the stand, because I was there, she didn't make enough, because then why would she say, so this is what Porsha said, because I mean, some people, I don't know if y'all think because these people be on TV that they something better than you, but they just regular broke people. That's why they on TV. So what Porsha said is, since she did not work, this is what she said. So if she knows that she has this hair business and all of this stuff, then wouldn't that be a job? So if she said that since she did not work, what does that tell you? Because she said that she didn't work. I mean, so did the business make any money? Did it not make enough? Porsha said she quit her jobs and she did not work. That's what she said. So if she had gold naked hair and all of this stuff that she said she have, I don't know. Did she make a profit? I don't know. But she said she didn't work. She didn't say, I have businesses and I have an income. She said she didn't have work. She didn't work. She said, so therefore, when her and Simon, she said, when they did the prenup, and because she wasn't working, she said, if her and Simon were to break up, she would need to have 3 years to be able to show that she can pay a mortgage. That's what she said. So, I mean, I thought she had some businesses, but if she said she didn't work, who am I to say, well, girl, what happened to your businesses? So I don't know. That's what she said. Porsha pulling a well, Malaysia Pargo didn't get her money from her husband either. Yeah, so Porsha said that I mean, like, I can say I don't work, for nobody, but I still have an income. So I don't know. Maybe she's saying that to the court to make, I don't know, but I don't believe that Simon is going to pay this. Like, just because you have a court order don't mean that they're going to pay it. Somebody put Malaysia Pargo in the chat. Now, if y'all remember her from Basketball Wives, y'all know she had a huge order for alimony and child support. And she said her ex-husband stopped paying it very shortly after that. So with the house is not in her name. So what has to happen, and per the prenup, it says that, if they're in this situation where, they're, going to do a divorce, that Simon has to put the house in a trust in both of their names. So therefore she can refinance it. So in the prenup that Simon signed, he didn't have a problem letting her keep the house. This is why the judge was over it, because everything that Porsha is asking for is already in the prenup. So I didn't know that at first. So she's only asking for what was already put in the prenup. Now, from Simon's standpoint, Simon like, girl, I don't make this amount of money. Thank you for the super chat. Yada, yada. Porsha is saying, no, enforce the prenup. And that's why the judge was like, okay, we enforcing the prenup, if that makes sense. So what Porsha is asking for, and I'm just being fair, y'all know I ain't no Porsha fan, but what Porsha is asking for is what Simon already agreed to do, if that makes sense. But Simon is saying now that, he shouldn't have to enforce it for these reasons. But Porsha is like, no, enforce the prenup, if that makes sense. So with the house right now, it's not in her name. So if Simon does not transfer the house to a trust with both of their names, they can go back to court and the judge will do it. But the judge said that he's not doing nothing right now. The judge is like, you need to wait and give him time to do it. So the judge is not doing it right now either. Right. So for right now, yes, she has to, she would have to talk back and forth, or probably not so much talk back and forth to him. Like, she would talk to her attorney and her attorney would talk to his attorney. But girl, it's a mess. I mean, that's why I think it's something financially not right here with Porsha, because I mean, when she was with Cordell, she got her money up and went and bought a house. Why she can't do that again? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Tracy. He gave her the house in a trust and half the equity after 15 months. Girl, now that's what I'm saying right there. Who does that? So, girl, okay, that's what I'm trying to right there, y'all, on the screen. Who does that? I mean, he an older man, so I mean, obviously he got a lot of money. That's the only thing I can guess because, girl, who does that? He used his money to hurt many women. Look how he treated Fallon and left her homeless with those children. Oh, he didn't leave Fallon homeless. He got Fallon. So when Simon and Fallon divorced, she wasn't homeless. He paid for her house, I think, for a year or two. That was part of her settlement. So he didn't leave her homeless now. He did pay for everything. And Fallon actually said that. She actually said that. So he did get her a house. Yeah, he did actually give Fallon a house. I think she rented a house. I'm not sure. I was once divorced. He's going to sign over the deed in 30 days. Porsha will sell it. He doesn't pay the $40. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I said, Nina. I said, she'll get the house. I said, if he doesn't pay, because so technically, this is what I'm guessing. I don't really believe Porsha wants to refinance the house at this point because the prenuptial agreement says she has to in 36 months. Porsha wants to live at that house until it get close to that 36 months because guess what? She can stay there for free. Simon has to pay the mortgage and give her $40,000. Why wouldn't she do that? I'm just saying. So she doesn't want to refinance it right now. The only way she would want to refinance it right now is if Simon don't pay because then it's going to go into foreclosure. That's all I'm saying, Lady Blue 57. Porsha is making Simon pay for Cordell's mistakes. Because when she was on there, on this, giving her testimony, and she was like, in my last divorce, I didn't get nothing. I'm like, girl, what that got to do with him? Like, honestly, Simon gave you enough for him and your last husband. So that is exactly right. She's definitely making him pay. No, he put like $1 million down on that house that they have now. So the house that he bought that house he said about a year before they, got married or whatever. He used the money from his prior residence, and I think they said 2 residents. He used the money to put down on that property. Oh, Portia is not smart. She just, I mean, I don't think she's smart at all. I mean, because I don't think that she's gonna get anything. I think that Simon is not gonna pay. I mean, she can sell the house, but girl, you went through all of that. I mean, I'm not going through all of that just to get a piece of a man house when I could just get my own. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't believe that Portia wants to refinance it now because she probably got another year and a half to live there. I mean, think about it. If somebody was going, so tell me this: why would Portia want to refinance the house right now when technically, since the judge said enforce the prenup, Simon still has to pay the mortgage? So why would she refinance it now? Because Simon still has to pay. So why would she refinance it now? You might as well stay there. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that's what the prenup says. He in Nigeria. Who go? Nobody. They can't extradite him back. They couldn't if they wanted to. No, I do not think that Simon is going to pay. Somebody said, "How much is owed on the house?" Good question. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know, y'all. I think Simon just got so much money that because I don't think that he's dumb. I don't know. I think that, maybe, I mean, he did say that he wanted. So this is what he said. He said, because the relationship that him and Porsha had. He said Porsha came to him and said that she was tired. She was exhausted from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She was mentally tired of the show. So he said when she told him that, it was the understanding that she didn't want to work and she kind of wanted to travel and, do things like that. So he felt like at the point that they got married, because she wasn't working, that whenever she decided to take a job, she wouldn't, because she hadn't been working in so long, it would take her some time to kind of build up her momentum. So he said that's where the 36 months came from. Somebody keeps saying that. Listen, y'all keep saying that. Somebody else said Simon is an African man. He is not going to pay for anything. Oh, that is funny. Y'all keep saying that. Somebody else said he will pay. But listen, him not being in the US don't got nothing to do with paying her. So if he didn't pay her, that don't mean that he can't come back to the US. I'm waiting to see how this play out. Okay. But I don't know. I mean, maybe he will pay, maybe he won't. I mean, he said in court that he didn't have access to a lot of stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. Do you recall Porsha saying she exhausted her funds on Simon's last season? I don't remember. I gotta go back and watch the tape show. I was so much for those mistakes. Is he his mistreatment of Porsha? Simon has not mistreated. You said his mistreatment of Porsha. Okay, I guess that could be true. True. Get attacked, then dip. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think that Porsha, this was part of her plan. I don't think she ever liked this Simon. And let me just tell you why. She is so infatuated with this house. She talks about, I think I even heard her somewhere say that she picked out the house. It's like she's really asphyxiated on this house, which is so crazy because most people, when they want to get rid of a person, they just leave. So the fact that she's so asphyxiated with this house is almost a little, weird. Well, Fallon was not finna do all of this. So she took her little money and hid it. That's why I'm saying Porsha is just like, but y'all know what? They say you don't win when you play dirty, and what you reap what you sow. I don't think that Porsha gonna be able to afford this house. I think if she do somehow get it, she gonna lose it because there is no way. Like, how could that is a and first of all, why would she want a house that big when it's just her and her daughter? That doesn't even make any sense. Why would you want a house so big and it's just you and your daughter? That don't make no damn sense. Any news about the child they had planned together? Well, they not having no child together. That's a wrap. What I did hear is that she was trying to move forward with it, maybe to get more maybe to get more money. She might get her another sugar daddy. Simon is better off paying her for 3 years versus not getting the equity in that house. The house will be worth. No, it wouldn't. No, so Simon would lose more. Think about it. So think about it. Y'all gotta understand what the 40,000 plus he has to pay the mortgage and the bills at the house. So he will not get more with the equity in the house. How is that? No. Porsha married Simon for money. She will reap what she sow. I believe Porsha has something going on with Simon. Oh, of course. I I believe that. I believe it was something going on with them. Simon did say, I gotta go back and look. I gotta go back and look, but I thought he said that he had known Porsha for 10 years, but then he said he didn't personally know her. So I don't know. I gotta go back and look at the videos. I don't really remember exactly what he said. Um, she should have played the longer game because she would have gotten more. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, the thing about it is she can take the house. I mean, I don't think he care at this point about the house. I don't think he cares about the house at this point. I really don't. I think he's over the house. I mean, at this point, I think this is was probably his last to go and see. He's probably over it. I mean, because y'all got to think about it like this. Um, I believe because he said he wanted to be able to help her and do the right thing. So y'all got to understand if he put that in the prenup, I mean, I don't think it was that much of a big deal to him. I didn't know that it was in the prenup like that, but he actually put that in there. So if he put that in there, I also too think that he's hurt because he probably found out that Portia is something that he probably didn't think that she was, which I don't know how he didn't see that. Right? No, he dropped over 1 million on that house. I remember he said that. Right, right, right. But here's the thing though, he has to pay her and pay the mortgage and the bills at the house. So it's just not give her 40,000, is you still have to pay the bills. So that's way more than 40,000. So I believe that he really has the money. I feel like, that he may just be like, I'm not paying you, but I think that he has it. Put a root. Somebody said put a root on the house. I mean, think about it. Think about it. If he put in the prenup that if they were to divorce, that she can sell the house, refinance it in her name, and split the equity. So he knew this in the beginning. So this is something that he agreed to. So I think right now, this is what I think the issue is. I think Simon has found out some things about Portia that he didn't know before. And so think about it. You know, it seemed like Simon was really open to kind of helping Portia because he had known what she had been through in her last marriage. But then knowing that or thinking the woman that you with was, treated wrongly and you feeling like, okay, I want to be different. So if we get a divorce, I don't want her to feel like, she has to, get out. So he's like, okay, so if we, get a divorce, you can keep the house. But then you find out that she messing around with all these dudes. I think he regrets it. I think that he regrets it. That's what I think because I mean, think about it. He signed this. Like it's not like this is something that she's asking a judge. This is what he agreed. Right. So yeah, she would and not only would she have to refinance the house, she is practically refinancing it for the full amount because then she would have to take the cash out of it. And if y'all know how it works when you take cash out, that make your interest rate more. So I don't know. I just feel like Portia probably just gonna sell this house and move on because I don't know why she's so asphyxiated with this house. Girl, you gonna be working all motherfucking day thir all day, every day. I would just why does she want this house? Why? Why would you listen, if you want a house with 5 bedrooms, at least have 3 people in 3 of the bedrooms and then have maybe 2, a guest room. But girl, it's only you and your daughter. He told Fallon about Portia and talked. Wait a minute. I'm glad y'all said that. Why Portia mentioned in court? I can tell Portia was a little hurt too, because she was like Simon called her a pig with red lipstick or something. Oh no. He said Portia said that Simon called her a pig with red lipstick or something. The house is turning into a money pit down the road, but things can change. Simon, where was I at? Got something up his sleeve. I mean, if y'all think about it, Simon actually agreed to give her the house. But again, I think now he's saying that Portia is not who he thought she was. But unfortunately, the judge was like, I ain't getting in that. This is y'all prenup. That's what y'all gonna stick with. So um the judge just wasn't having it. So but I think that I believe Simon got money because I don't think that he would have agreed to give a woman, and think about it, like y'all said, he hadn't even been with her no time. So why would you put this in a prenup? I mean, I've saw people say, if we marry for 5 years or if we marry for XYZ years, none of that was in a prenup. So literally, you got married just to get a damn divorce. You got married to get a divorce. It's pretty much what it is. I was just saying, she can't afford it. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Somebody says so many baby mamas got dumped with nothing by Nigerian men. So I don't know. But like I said, y'all, I got like so many. I wonder if I can show y'all this. I can't because I gotta edit it. So it's a lot. Like I said, I got a lot of videos. I got a lot of videos. I just got to get edited so I can get the personal information taken out and some of that out of there. And more. That's why man put it in a prenup period. He knows what happened in their relationship. I don't know if she deserved it all. Porsha is a hoe. So, listen, let me make this declaration. If you are a hoe, leave my chat, okay? I don't like hoes, okay? So Porsha don't deserve nothing because she is a hoe, okay? So I know the hoes support the hoes, but I ain't a hoe and y'all can leave, okay? Because Porsha don't deserve nothing. But I mean, Simon wanted to give it to her. I mean, he did because it's in the prenup. But I mean, you can't be, screwing everybody but some people do that. But Simon really wanted to give her the house. I mean, he really did. But I think, he's found out some things about Porsha, which he put in the so Simon put in some documents, that Porsha was, allegedly seeing all of these men, but the prenup, I guess it should have probably said in the prenup if it was infidelity. I don't think that was probably in the prenup nowhere. She didn't sign up for a struggle. She wanted soft light, not subpoenas. Well, this is the thing though. I don't think, in all honesty, I don't think Porsha ever loved Simon or even liked him. I think this was her way to play victim because what she did is she used her last marriage to try to make Simon feel sorry for her. That's what she did because he said, a lot of the stuff that he put in there, for so that she could feel secure. And she used that very thing against him. Well, here's the deal. With those cars, y'all know how it work. If you don't pay it, they just gonna come pick it up. And I don't know if y'all know this, but I've been told that people from Nigeria, how us people are always concerned about our credit. They said it's different in Nigeria. I don't know, child. I guess they say Nigeria. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I mean, think about it. He got deported. I wouldn't be thinking about them damn cars. I mean, why should he try to keep up with this woman's lifestyle and he can't even come to the US? So I don't know. He can send somebody to pick him up. That's what I would think. Well, y'all know with so here's the deal. Simon is not even in the United States. So they can't force him to pay nothing. How? He ain't even here. So how they gonna force him? The Nigeria and the United States, they ain't the same. So I mean, how can they force him to pay anything? That's a whole nother country. And the way that it will work too, if he did not pay, he obviously wouldn't get his half of the house because then, she can say, oh, he didn't pay this or he didn't pay that. Oh, God. But I think, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. He may not file an appeal. He may be just over this. So you say you find it. Let's put this one on the screen. Let's put this on the screen. let's just put this on the screen so we can address this. I find it interesting that most women are supportive of Simon, a man who has been known to mistreat women. Finally, a black woman is treated like she has some. So let's just talk about this. Okay, finally, a black woman is treated like she has some value. Most black women are left poor. So, okay, how do I want to answer this? So, you know, he decided that he wanted to give her the house. He decided that. And I think that's, good that he felt like that because they were only married for 15 months. I mean, they what this was not no long marriage. Like, come on now. I mean, you said most black women are left poor. If she was poor, that means she was poor when he met her. They wasn't together but 15 months. They were not together for 15 years. Like this is I mean, it's a marriage because they got married, but this is not, I wouldn't even consider this a marriage. So when you say finally a black woman is treated like she has some value. Well, here's the deal. Porsha does not even treat herself like she has value because she opened her legs and everything is going in between them. I know because I live in Georgia where she lived. That's how I was able to go to the court hearing. So Porsha is a different kind of woman, just so you know. So in terms of Simon mistreating women, um, you mean like the back and forth on social media, I guess? I mean, when you say mistreating women, I mean, I don't know. I mean, him and Portia was going back and forth with each other. I mean, I guess. I mean, they was pretty much mistreating each other, I guess. I just don't jump on the black women bandwagon because let me just tell you something. Black women are the nastiest in my comments. And guess what? When I go to other people comments, y'all do the same thing. Not you, y'all, but I just don't jump on the, oh, you a black woman because I'm naturally nice, period. But I just notice how black women are just so nasty. Like, so I don't jump on the bandwagon of, oh, you're a black woman. I'm just nice because I don't know. I be wondering why the black women be writing all these weird things in the comments. That's what I be trying to figure out. Like always mad. So I don't know. I don't. I really don't. But good question. What y'all saying? Can she afford to? I don't think she can. I don't think she can. But I mean, she better work it. She better work it. Yes. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? Can I tell y'all how? Let's just talk about this because let me just tell y'all about this. Like, I remember like guys would say like how you have male friends, like not male friends that you go with, but just they really your friends. And they will always tell me how, black women be doing this. And I will really be going off on them. Like I will really be letting them have it. It took me to come to social media and read the comments that they be saying for me to be like, I get it now. Because guess what? It don't be nobody but the black girls, okay? The black women. That is who do it. So I was like, oh, this really how they are. Like nasty and bitter. And I just don't understand it. So when I start reading it, I was like, that's what them dudes be talking about. I don't get it. I don't understand that. It just be so. But you know what I did? I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna work on myself because I don't want to be seen like that because that is a ugly look. And I said, I don't want to be seen like that because I be seeing the ugliness and it don't matter how cute you are. Like, it's this lady that keep coming in my chat. Her name is Baby Hairs. She got a big juicy wig on, right? So when I come on screen and I look like my regular self with no makeup, she always coming in my chat saying weird stuff. So if I get on these big eyelashes like her eyelashes out to here and a big juicy wig on, then I think I'll be acceptable to her. But she comes to my chat and say weird stuff all the time. So I don't know. I'm praying for all the bitter Black Betties. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out too. Why they be so mad? But I gotta give it to her. She made sure she wasn't gonna get left high and dry. Shit, high and dry. She was. See, we gotta understand when you say high and dry, they wasn't together long. So when you say high and dry, I mean y'all. You said high and dry. They wasn't even together that long. So I don't. I mean I don't even know what to say. I'm talking about the bitter ones on this internet. I don't be around nobody bitter. I'm talking about the comments because I just be like, ooh, whew, I don't get it. Many women on here are sleeping around with broke men for free. I'm not sleeping with a broke man for free or for nothing because I'm not for sale. So I don't even know what that means. I'm not sleeping with you for free or for pay. So I don't even know what that means. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone to get their approval. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sleeping with nobody for either, for broke or for pay. If I want to sleep with them, I guess I'll sleep with them. I don't got time for either that either. She is going to go broke to struggle to maintain the house. I feel like at my age, I just want to live within my means. Like I don't want to do all of this extra stuff, and I just want to live within my means. So I don't know. Hopefully it work out for her. But I mean, I was, like I said, when I went to the court hearing, I was glad to know that, Simon actually did want her to have the house. I think, at some point he start finding out stuff about Porsha and maybe wanted to reconsider, but it was too late. That's what I think. Because it's not going to attorney Randy going to be mad because he's not paying. He's not paying. Yeah. Yeah, I genuinely, like I said, after going to the hearing, I genuinely think he really wanted her to have the house. Right, right. Yeah, I genuinely believe that. So I mean that's refreshing to know that that's why I said I really think he really loved her. I mean, because why would you just be like, okay, well, you can have the house? I mean, he could have been like, if we break up after 5 years, but y'all was together for 15 months. 15 months. And somebody was like, at least she wasn't left broke. I mean, they was together for 15 months. I mean, what do you expect to gain after 15 months? I don't know. Women keep saying secure the bag. I think I don't know. I don't know. I'm not securing. I'm securing myself. So I don't even know what none of that stuff mean. I don't sleep with nobody for money. I don't know. I don't know what any of that means. Love can be blind. Simon was definitely looking at Porsha with both eyes crossed. Somebody said both eyes crossed. Wait a minute. And I got to put this one on the screen. Love can be blind. Simon was definitely looking at Porsha with both eyes crossed and grabbing on that fatty. Oh, see something? Because I mean, I don't know. But again, I think that you know he he must got more than enough money. That's the only thing I can think. I don't know. Well, so they divorced after 15 months. So they've been going through a divorce since the 15 months. So I don't think, they're counting the time they've been going through a divorce. Or yourself, not depend on a man to right. That's what I'm saying. Secure your own bag. That's what I'm talking about. Cause I can't, I feel like anything somebody give me is extra. I just can't depend on nobody. I just can't, people stuff come with strings attached. And I just don't have time for that. I think something happened in the marriage. We don't know. I do. You know what? That's funny you said that because that's a good question. I think that there's some other things, and if y'all remember, Simon was mentioning other men, but for some reason the judge wasn't so this is another thing that happened. Simon requested Porsha to answer different questions and stuff, she never answered it. So I believe in what people have I won't say allegedly, what people have said, that Porsha allegedly was messing around with other people. Now I know y'all done heard that before. Now that could be a real thing, because somebody that I know that really knows Porsha really well and her circle say that Porsha was messing around with multiple men. So I believe that that's probably it, but Simon probably can't prove it. I don't know. I don't know. You said he learned to hook and crook. I don't know how nobody hooking and crooking $40,000 to pay you every month. That ain't really hooking and crooking. That's you doing more than hooking and crooking. Right. Simon said you can't put red lipstick on a pig. He was giving her a house he knew she couldn't afford and didn't want to work. So we'll see. So okay, y'all. Well, look at this comment. Why these people calling Porsha a gold digger? You think it's right for young, beautiful Porsha? Okay. You say young, beautiful Porsha. Do you mean Porsha with the wig and the eyelashes and the hair Porsha, or you mean a regular Porsha? Which Porsha? I mean, Porsha looks just about as decent as anybody else. I mean, you put the wig on, the eyelashes, and all the makeup. I mean, she ain't ugly, but I wouldn't say that she's all of that. So when you say taking risks with old men, that seemed like some prostitute talk or something, because taking a risk with old men, I mean, does she like old men? I don't know what that means. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. When you say taking a risk with old men, I have a cousin that married an old man, and they've been together for 20 some years. Some people actually like old men. But when you say taking a risk with old men, that seemed like some kind of other stuff. Because if you like old men, then you like old men, to each his own. But I don't think Porsha is, I think she's just a regular person. So I don't know. Are you a call girl or something? I mean, I don't know. That just seemed like call girl talk. Most people leave when it's over. Portia, she stayed for the square footage. She wasn't leaving without that house. And that's all I'm saying. Because when I left shit. I'm like, I got to get the hell up out of here. Right, right, right. Right. I mean, like I said, I have a cousin, and me and my cousin is 6 months older than me, and she met her husband when she was 19, and that man was about 50 years old then, and they are still together now. They are still together now, married. So some people like old men. I mean, she liked her old man. She's still with him. They got 2 kids. So I don't know. So when you say, a lady put in the chat, so should she be taking it? I don't listen. I don't know nothing about that. What is that call girl talk stuff? I don't know nothing about that. Now the Nigerian prince she bagged didn't even what that's oh wait a minute. I gotta put this on the screen. Now the Nigerian prince she bagged hadn't even been to Nigeria in years until he met her. She gave him a whole spiritual passport. I understand. He allowed Fallon, who was with him for 5 years or more, he didn't leave her with a home. She was just to stay in the home. But who leaves a young woman without children? Well, those children wasn't his. I mean, you said, Felicia, girl, what you be doing? I'm confused. You say, I understand he allowed Fallon, who was with him for 5 or more. He didn't leave her with a home. She was just able to stay in the home, but who leaves a young woman? So, okay. So with Fallon, just so you know, it was the same situation. He sold the house that they had, and Fallon did I mean, he had to split the money with her. So she did get money. So same thing with Porsha. If Porsha can't refinance the house, she had to sell it. Why would Fallon would have wanted to live in that house like that? Fallon just had some sense. She left and hid it. Everything is not always about money and coochie and you look cute, because that don't always work. That don't always work. I think we're probably we should be over the time where women think that they so pretty because it's somebody prettier, it's somebody weave longer, it's somebody eyelashes thicker. So I mean, I think, at some point, people got to get over that. Porsha better stay away from Nigeria if she knows what's good. She need to stop going there ASAP, or we will read about her. Well, I hope she, take care of herself, because girl, you are in danger, girl. You are in danger. Cause you are in danger. Are we forgetting that this is a woman who got it out the mud? Whatever Simon gave her was a bonus. She had her own bag. Well, honey, she must don't got nothing, because why won't she? I'm confused. I, I I don't I don't know. She said she hadn't worked, so I don't think she has a lot of anything anymore. She had, I mean, I know she hasn't worked, but I was in court. She said that she hasn't worked, so she would need to get back out there and work. So I think that some of y'all think Porsha is more than what she really is. Because in all honesty, I don't think she has it like that. Because I know that if she did, she wouldn't be trying as hard. And that's what I keep telling y'all. I'm in Georgia. Don't know. Listen, listen. I know y'all done saw other people videos talking about Porsha in that coochie that she keep giving to everybody. Let's get the facts straight. Simon paid Fallon's mortgage for a year. Right, right. She wasn't left homeless. That's what I keep telling them. No, Fallon was not left homeless, and she did get money. She just, she got her money and he did pay her rent. Sure did. The whole thing reminds me of one of those old, let me see what this says. The whole thing reminds me of one of those old con artist movies, two hustlers marrying for money and running game until they finally met their match, right? But y'all know what? Like I said, I don't think that I think his only regret is he realized that Porsha was not who she said she was. That's just what I think. Because I mean, he put it in a prenup. He didn't have to put this in a prenup now. So I think he found out that Porsha wasn't who he said. Somebody says, does Simon still have to pay alimony? Okay, are you talking about to Porsha? So in the prenup, it says that, which he agreed, that he will pay her $40,000 a month. So I mean, if he pay it, I mean, what can they do? He don't live here no more. What they gonna do? Porsha planned and plotted her future. Either way it went, she'd be good. Porsha wants, yeah. I don't understand why Porsha would want that house though. I mean, it's only her and her daughter. I wouldn't want that house. That's too much. That's too much maintenance. I wouldn't want that house. That's too much. That's way too much maintenance. I don't know. I don't know why she would want that house out of all the houses. But she also stated on the stand that the house that she has now, the one her mother live in, she said that she would have to sell it. So then I guess her mother gonna move in there then. I guess her mother gonna move in there with, in Simon's house or Simon's old house. When your man calls you a pig with lipstick after the breakup, that tells you everything about what the relationship really was. Yeah, they went crazy, didn't they? Why not just give? You said, why didn't he just gift her a house? Maybe Fallon didn't want a house. I mean, Fallon was pregnant by a whole nother man. So, I mean, you said, why didn't he just gift her a house? You do know that she was pregnant by the guy, what was one of Simon's employees or something. So I don't think that was gonna happen. And you say, why didn't she keeps saying stuff about why men don't give women stuff? Why don't get a job, I guess. But I think Fallon negotiated what she wanted. I mean, he paid her rent. Fallon was pregnant by a whole nother man. I mean, he could have, I mean, if y'all really think about it, Simon could have bought Fallon for, because she was pregnant by a whole nother dude. He still paid her stuff. So, I mean, and you saying why he just didn't give her a house when Fallon was pregnant by a whole nother man. Fallon was pregnant by a whole nother man and married to Simon. And you said, why didn't Simon just give her a house? How crazy do that sound? Why does Simon need to give a lady that's married by another man a house? That's crazy. Right. Well, Porsha said that Simon lived with her. That was my first time hearing about that. But I would imagine it was for a small amount of time. But she did say that Simon and his kids live with her. She did say that. I mean, make it make sense. Pursuant. What the heck that mean? Pursuant. You mean Porsha? But like I said, y'all, I got a lot of dang on content. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to jump on here and kind of get this out, because I still got a whole bunch of other stuff on here that I want to get out. I'm gonna upload the court stuff. Like I said, I just gotta redact it. No, 40K a month, not 50, 40. So Porsha was getting 40,000 a month, but when they were dating, she was getting 30. Hey, listen, date me for 30. I'll take it. But yeah, so I mean, I know y'all, some people keep saying Simon a scammer. I'm just trying to find where the scammers at that can pay that much. These some hoes in this house, and they trying to, yeah. That's what I'm starting to think, Tracy girl, because something ain't right. Something ain't right. 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 Yeah. I don't know. If I was Portia, I would go ahead and sell that and get something that you can afford. Because girl, that is a huge expense. That's a house that you want when either you got a lot of money or you got somebody that can take care of, some of those expenses, because girl, you got a whole pool and, all of this maintenance at the porch. Wait a minute, y'all. That house even has an elevator in it, because Portia said not only is Simon supposed to pay the bills, but he's supposed to pay when stuff get broke, because she said the elevator was broke. I'm just like, girl, you doing too much. Who gonna do all of that? Only 10K more after marriage. He wasn't impressed. Yeah, so Simon is, I guess, supposed to take care of, the maintenance as well. Exactly. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. So he's supposed, and keep in mind, 40K a month plus pay the mortgage and all the other expenses. What? Who fell in the hole? Portia won't even be able to keep that house, child. You can tell, the women that really, really want a man and just really want a man to buy them something. Y'all gotta love yourself though, for real. Learn to love yourself. Just learn to love yourself. One thing I never liked is a woman who is desperate for a man. Always need a man to feel validated. You should not live your life like that. So basically, he financed her exit and paying monthly for the privilege. That's not power, that's penalties. He's stupid. Yeah, that's what I said. I said the same thing. But then, you know what? I said that, but you know what I thought? I said he must just have a lot of money because I don't think that he's stupid. I think because what he said in court was he wanted to help her. He said he what he said is if they got divorced, he didn't want to just pretty much like, throw her out. He said he wanted to give her some kind of security where, she could keep the house. So he didn't care at some point. And that's what I'm saying. That's why the judge was like, no, we enforcing a prenup. He didn't care about that. He really wanted to help her. But that's what I'm saying. I think he realized that, this girl ain't who I thought she was. They were married 15 months, not 15 years. Right. That's what I'm saying. People keep saying like, oh, they was married. They were married for 15 months before she filed for a divorce. How many, y'all? That's only a year and what, 4 months? That's a year and 4 months. Right. This isn't a win. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, they got it all messed up. Oh, y'all keep saying this stuff about Nigerian men. They ain't no good. Somebody said you got to do the Diddy case. It be just one of me. I can't do all of this stuff. I try to do the Diddy case. It's just, listen, over here, they don't care about the Diddy case. So I don't do it that much. But I may talk about it tomorrow because I saw some stuff. But in all honesty, I have talked about the Diddy case, but it's really exhausting to me, to be honest. I'm just going to be honest. It's really exhausting because I feel like we hearing the same stories over and over again. But what I don't understand is it's supposed to be a sex trafficking case, but I have yet to hear how these folks was tied up. So I'm just like, everybody keeps saying, oh, I did it because I loved them, or so I'm just like, what is this giving? I say, congratulations, Porsha. All right, y'all. It's gonna be 1 o'clock. I didn't even realize it was this late, y'all. We've been on here for 2 hours. So what I said is I'm going to get those videos out, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it to the members first. So if you're a member on here or on Patreon, y'all gonna get the videos first. So I'm gonna give it to y'all first. Porsha won, but Simon left out for Porsha. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. I'm tired.